Good morning. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Holly Show. I'm Holly Berube. Welcome to my personal page. For those of you that might be new here or seeing this for the first time, I am a relationship coach that helps you to manage and get through the road bumps in your relationship and get you back to win-win partnership. So I am committed to being here doing the Holly Show live on my personal page Monday through Thursdays at 8:30 a.m.-ish Eastern. It lands a little bit later some days, a little bit closer some days, but it is what it is. So we're doing the best we can, being consistent. So if you are here live, say hello in the comments or put a 1 in the comments. Hi, Diane, which is my mom. Hi, Tina. Good morning, everyone. If you are watching this on a replay later on, put a 2 in the comments or type replay. Still say hello. Tell me where you are watching from. I love seeing how far this video and this content goes. And thank you in advance for the thumbs up and for the hearts and for any comment you leave at all, because all of that helps this video to gain traction and get this message out there. So good morning, Sean. How are you? It is so important to me in my profession that I am here living a life of service to other individuals and couples with the intention to heal families. So if you're watching this and you are not in a relationship, you still can use this information to heal your family, to use this toward what you have with your children or with your aging parents. If you are in a relationship that isn't long-term yet, or you're still in the dating phase, you can apply this information to that as well. Hi, Dolly. Good morning. Good to see you here. Everyone say hi in the comments. Thank you, Tina. Hello. Good morning. Thanks for putting a 1 for being live. So my point with all of you is I really want to share a topic with you today that I had a light bulb moment with yesterday when I was on the phone with my bestie. So just to flash, so the title of the topic, just see, is here is the one big mistake that you're making when you are managing your relationship or trying to. The one big mistake you're making when you're managing your relationship or trying to. So if you were to go back to my live from yesterday, excuse me, I have a drippy nose. I don't know why. Thank you, Dolly. I appreciate that. So if you were to go back to the live stream I did yesterday on Monday, May 16th, I actually was talking about using the phrase, if I'm really being honest, I feel blank, and ways to use that. And somewhere in that live stream, toward the end of it, I had an epiphany about what I do and how I explain what I do for a living to other people. For whatever reason, when I lived in South Florida for many years, I could tell people I'm a relationship coach or even a life coach, and people had an idea of what that was because it was around enough. It had enough exposure. When I moved back to Michigan in 2020, I have been struggling since then trying to tell people what I do, because if I say relationship coach, everyone thinks I'm a therapist. Okay. I promise this has to do with you managing your own relationship. So yesterday on the live stream, I was talking about using that phrase, and I don't know where you have to go watch it. It was a long one, but I ended up saying, you know what? I'm a relationship manager. I'm a relationship manager. I'm a relationship manager. And so after my live stream, I was on my phone with my best friend, Nicole Herman, and who also is a social media influencer. She's a makeup artist. And so we were on the phone, and she's also a Christian. And I had explained to her, like, this is what my video is about. And I'm like, hey, Nicole, and she's in Michigan. Okay. So I said to her, I said that I'm a relationship manager. Like, what do you think about that? Do you think Michiganders would understand what a relationship manager is? And she's like, yeah, maybe. And she goes, I need to think about it. There's something about it that's just not sitting right with me. And that was where I came up with today's topic, which is the one big mistake that you're making when you're trying to manage a relationship. So I'll just tell you the mistake straight out, and then I'll explain it. The mistake that you're making is you're spending your time in your relationships trying to manage the other person and not the actual relationship. The one big mistake you're making is you are spending your time, and I'll even assert here, you're spending your time and spinning your wheels trying to manage the other person and not the relationship. So what's so beautiful is no matter of what faith or logic you come from, history shows that relationships were designed to produce a third. Okay, so like if we go to the Bible, we're looking at man and woman, and the third is the creation of the children, of the child, right? But even if we look in the galaxy, we have the sun and the moon are both important. The sun and the moon are almost like a couple that are both vital and have vital roles in maintaining the third, which is the earth. And so it can be really easy in the world we live in today to think that a relationship is I do me and you do you. And there is minimal concern for this third that's in the middle, which I'll refer to as the dynamic of your relationship. Okay. So if we think of the relationship as something you two are growing together, I can either, when things are going wrong in the relationship, I can either look at the other person and say, or my partner, and say, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting this way? I can even look at myself. Why am I acting this way? Or I can kind of zoom out for a moment, stop being so self-absorbed, and also stop focusing so much on my partner. And I can look at the relationship as the third and be like, okay, what type of relationship do I want? How would I, with adjectives, describe that relationship? The relationship, let's say I'll speak for myself. So in my relationship right now, like I want a relationship that is trusting, that is loving, that is connected, that's fun. Trusting, loving, connected, fun. Those would be my four that I use for right now. And so much more, but we'll keep it very simple, okay? Trusting, loving, connected, and fun. And let's say for whatever reason, I'm feeling, I don't know, disconnected from my honey. Like maybe I haven't seen him. Maybe we haven't spent time together. Maybe we haven't had a solo date night in a while. Like it could be a variety of things. I have two options. I can either then nitpick at him and try to manage him and say, you should do this and you should do this and you should do this. And why are we not doing this? And why are you not doing that? I can try to manage him, his behavior, his words, his actions, his attitude. I can also do the same thing with myself. But before I manage myself, I want to go to the root and say, okay, if I'm feeling disconnected, what does a connected relationship look like? And how can because I am the only one that I have control over, right? How can I bring connection to this? So maybe the connection looks like quality time spent together. So maybe I arrange for the quality time instead of pointing the finger at him and saying, you should plan a date. You should figure this out. You're the reason we're disconnected. It's so much easier to point the finger at other people and try to manage the other person's actions or lack of actions than it is to look at the core of what is it that I want and how can I add that to this soil of this relationship that's growing? How can I enrich the third being the relationship? There is me, there is, in my case, there is myself, there is, in my case, because I'm a heterosexual man, right? There's me, there's him, and then there's a third, the relationship. And also, I think a trap that we could fall into for those of you who are parents is grouping the third of your relationship with your partner in with the third of the relationship with your child. I think it's important to make a distinction between those two things as well. So if you are feeling disconnected, are you disconnected from your significant other, or are you disconnected as a family, or are you disconnected with one particular child that you're currently raising or your adult child? I think it's easy that we can start to collapse those things. So this is really the one big mistake we're making is we're trying to manage people and not the relationship. And if you think about workplaces that are ineffective, if you've ever had a job that you hated, right? So I had a job that I was a high school teacher for a very long time. I loved being a teacher. A lot of my former students actually follow me and chat me up, and we're great. It's so fun because everyone's adults now, and they're married and they have kids, and it's really funny. But one of the things that had me grow to dislike teaching is when I was observed in my classroom more and more and more and more. And it's not that I'm against those observations. I think that's really important to give teachers feedback. But the level of micromanaging, like this is the script. This is what they were saying. Like this is the script that's in the book that you're now going to read. You're not going to freestyle your lesson anymore. You're going to read this script. It felt very demeaning. It felt very micromanagey. And at the end of the day, they were not managing the relationship. They were not coming to the table, my admin or the district, and saying, what do you think is best for the third, which is the well-being of the student? They were just coming to me and managing me and micromanaging me. So this concept of we're managing people and not the relationship goes through so many different areas of your life. It goes through your relationship with your significant other, but it also applies to likely your workplace as well. So type yes in the comments if this is making sense so far. Type yes in the comments just so I have an idea that I'm on a track here. So what can we do about this? All right. So I gave you an example of if you catch yourself managing another person, you want to, like I said, you want to zoom out and remember you are your own autonomous being. Hi, Mom. Thank you, Tina. I'm glad this makes sense. You are your own autonomous being. Your partner or the person you are thinking about in this situation is also their own being. And then there's the third in the middle. So like zoom out, ask yourself, what is the third? What is the thing that we want to grow and manage? Not the person, the management in the middle. And then it comes down to, and this is where I was on the phone. Thank you, Dolly. I appreciate that. I'm glad this makes sense. I want to, when I had the conversation with Nicole yesterday on the phone, she said, you know, if you say relationship manager, she said, that's what makes me feel yucky about it. I said, because I said to her, because originally she said, let me think about this. I don't know if I like how that sounds. I don't know why. And I said to her, is it because it sounds like I'm teaching people how to manage people and not the relationship? She's like, yes. That's it. I said, okay, so there needs to be a distinction made between managing the person you're in a relationship with and managing the actual relationship. And Nicole said, yes. I'm like, okay. So the key word here that we added in to my job description when her and I were on the phone yesterday is to say that I am a relationship operations manager. A relationship operations manager. I'm supporting people in developing operations and sustaining those operations so that a win-win partnership is the result of it. A healthy, thriving, loving relationship is the result of it. It's about the operations. The third is how it's the third thing, right? The thing that's in the middle of us is the thing we're creating. But we want to be careful and have a set of operations. We want to have a set of tools. We want to have a set of routines. And the biggest thing, I've said this a million times, if you've followed me or you've taken my courses, you know, agreements. Agreements. Without agreements, your relationship is toast. You can quote me on that. Someone type it in the comments. Without agreements, your relationship is toast. Burnt toast. No agreements, it ain't gonna work. It doesn't work. It causes so many problems. So the operations of the relationship. So that's what we want to focus on when we're trying to manage our relationship or improve it or get it to go back to a situation that was previously better, or go to someplace entirely new. If you're, say, reworking your level of trust in somebody, so on and so forth. We don't necessarily want to rebirth what was. We want to create something entirely new. What are the operations that we're going to put in place? The structure, the routines, the agreements that we're going to put in place with that relationship. And then we can always, when there's an issue, come back to the relationship and how we are managing the operation instead of focusing on our partner and telling them what to do. Because that's control, and that can also, and or manipulation, depending on a person's intention. And we don't want to do that. I believe you don't want to do that, or you wouldn't be here watching this. So I hope this makes sense. Tell me something in the comments that you took away from this. even if it's just like one line. I would love to hear your takeaway. If you saw this live or on a replay, please leave a takeaway, because that is giving me more food and fuel to like perhaps maybe even have another video on this if it really hits home for people. Again, put a 1 in the comments if you watched live or type live. Put a 2 in the comments if you watched on the replay or type the word replay. And my final announcement for today, just a quick reminder that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of June, the first Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 6th, 7th, and 8th, at 7 p.m. Eastern, each night I'll be having a 45-minute boot camp called The 3 Secrets to Better Communication in a Relationship. So that boot camp is only $37. I always over deliver. It's recorded, but if you are on it live, you will be on Zoom with me. You'll be able to ask questions, work with me face to face, get support. So please know that that is coming. If you are interested in being in that boot camp, comment below boot camp and I will get you the sign up link. And I think that's all I have for today. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you again for the thumbs up and the hearts, the likes, the shares, the comments. All of it helps to boost this video and get this message out to people that it's really meant for. So even if today's message doesn't really hit home for you, maybe as some of the other messages I've put out here, I always trust and believe that if it's on my heart, it's meant for someone. And if that's today, that's you, wonderful. And if it isn't, it might be somebody you know. So feel free to send it to other people, share it to your page. And that's all I have for today. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. And until tomorrow, love always in always. Bye, everyone.